No, I'm just going to hold off buying until the market starts to cool down, until prices start to drop. Now tell me you have not thought of this if you have been in the market for a home for the last 12 months. And if I'm being honest, that's understandable. The San Diego housing market has been red hot for years, but lately we've seen skyrocketing interest rates, less affordability, and major drops in demand. We've seen more change and disruption in this local market over the last couple months than we've seen since the 2008-2009 housing market crash. So should you wait to buy a home? Will the housing market correct over the next 6 to 12 months, giving you a better position as a buyer? Really, I think there are two main factors that you should consider, and then we're going to go over 3 different scenarios if you are considering buying a home. Anywhere from needing to buy now to having flexibility to purchase over the next 6 to 12 months. And I promise you, even though I'm a local real estate agent, this is not a promotion to buy a house. In fact, these are the same factors my wife and I are using to consider whether or not to purchase an investment property later on this year. And the truth is, some people should wait, and that's okay. Now first, let me give you some info on what we're seeing in the market currently with supply and demand. So currently right now in the San Diego County market, we have 4,806 homes for sale. Now that is up 34% from last year, which you would say that's a pretty big increase, right? 34% increase. That is some good signs for buyers. But what's important to know is looking back historically at the market prior to all the COVID craziness. The housing market in San Diego County shot up like a bullet at the beginning of COVID once we were able to start going out again. If you look at the 3-year running average prior to COVID, it was still a seller's market, and yet the average during that time, or this time of year, was 7,083 homes. And the reality is we need somewhere between 10,000 to 15,000 homes to be able to meet up with demand and start to get more to a buyer's market. This is what a lot of you guys want to see. It's probably why you're watching this video, because you want it to be more of a buyer's market. And if you look at demand, which is how many new escrows were open, how many accepted offers went into escrow, right now we have 2,174 homes that just went under escrow in this last month. But the 3-year period prior to COVID was 3,271, 50% more. Again, 50%, that is a large number. But we also had 7,000 homes on the market. So that's going to balance out a little bit more when you look at the supply and the demand. Now, let me know if that whiteboard is helpful. It's my first time breaking out this new technology, and I know I have some chicken scratch, so hopefully you can get past that.
I can't read your handwriting.
But let's talk about the expectation. So as far as this year, we've seen inventory shoot up like a rocket. We saw demand start to fall down. Now what we're starting to see is what we see every single year seasonally near the end of summer, where inventory hits its peak and starts to come down, and demand is starting to flatline. So as we've seen a market shift and change so rapidly because of interest rates and everything else going on, at the same time, we're seeing that the normal things happen that we normally see at this time of year. And I can tell you from personal experience and working with buyers and sellers in this market, that's exactly what we're feeling. We're feeling like everything's just starting to normalize a little bit more. And the reality is, and I keep saying this over and over and over again, we need more homes. We have an inventory shortage. San Diego built 10,000 homes last year. We should be building 30 to 40,000 every single year in order to meet up with demand. And the second factor that you should consider, unless you're using all cash to buy a house, are the interest rates, which we've seen go all over the place this year. We've seen them go as high as 6%. They started to come down a little bit even after the Fed chair, Jerome Powell, announced that they were going to increase the Fed funds rate. So it's been an interesting year. We've seen interest rates go up. We've seen inflation get crazy. Now it seems like all of that's starting to kind of flatten out a little bit. It's possible that we might have actually seen pretty much the top of the mortgage interest rates in 2022, and that they might be starting to come down, if not at least just flatlining. The reality is, we don't know. I don't know. No one out there knows exactly what's going to happen with the mortgage interest rates.
I don't know. Do you? I don't know. Do you?
But what we do know is you do have opportunities as a home buyer in this market. Because the market is changing, because it's more of a neutral market, sellers are considering buying down rates for buyers when asked. And buyers have other options, like maybe instead of a 30-year conforming loan, you might want to do an adjustable rate mortgage that has 7 years or 10 years at a fixed rate. And in specific scenarios, that might work out great for you. And obviously, talk to your financial advisor, talk to your mortgage advisor. Ask them what are the best options for you in your specific situation, and make sure that you can afford those monthly payments, worst case scenario, if rates don't come back down and you don't have an opportunity to refinance. Now, before I get into the scenarios, I really want to know, what other factors are you considering when buying a home in this market right now, or not buying a home in this market right now? All right, so I have 3 specific scenarios I think most people are going to fall into when considering buying a home, starting with the first-time home buyer. Affordability is an issue, and they're struggling to find a home where they can make a monthly payment and make it work. And there are 2 ways to look at this. First of all, a lot of first-time buyers, they are struggling to get their foot in the door on a property. I remember when my wife and I bought our first house, we had a roommate for 2 years. We rented out a room so that we could live a little bit more comfortably. Now, again, you always want to make sure, worst case scenario, that you can afford everything. You can afford those monthly payments. That is the most important thing. But know that a lot of people, when they buy that first house, they get their foot in their door on that first property. In order to build equity, you might be a little bit uncomfortable with those monthly payments at first. And hopefully over time, you're going to make more money. You're going to have more options. You can refinance. There's a lot of different things that you can do down the line that can help you out financially. And the second thing is adjust your search. Be a little bit more flexible with your location, the number of bedrooms, whether it's an attached or detached property, or drop the pool. I mean, there really aren't a lot of pools in San Diego. So if you're set on wanting a pool, maybe consider looking at homes without them. Finding homes with a flat backyard, so maybe sometime down the line you can purchase a pool. Most people's first home is not a forever home. Now, you don't want to hate where you live, but you do want an opportunity to build equity and ratchet up to the next home sometime down the line. And just know that with this market, you might be able to be a little bit more creative with your offers. You might be able to get more cash in pocket by asking for the sellers to pay for your closing costs. You might be able to get the seller to pay down points so that your interest rate is lower and your monthly payment is lower. These options are available right now that weren't really available a couple of months ago. And as a first-time home buyer, if these options do not give you the confidence that you need, then maybe waiting is the right option for you. But what I would suggest is come up with a plan for home ownership. Ultimately, over the next 12 months, we're probably not going to see a 20% increase in home prices. You don't know, but it's very unlikely. So you have a little bit more opportunity to play catch up than you did over the previous 2 years. All right, the second scenario that people are going to fit in is if they're selling one home and buying another one. And look, it's still a good time to sell a house. It's not the amazing time that we had in February, March, and April, where you can basically list your home for whatever the heck you want to list it for and have 20 people put in offers overnight. Heck, it might even take a couple of weeks. You might have to offer some credits to buyers, just like I was talking about on the last scenario. But guess what? You get these options on the buying side as well. So you obviously want to think about both the buying and the selling side. You can still get top dollar for your home and have more options on the buying side. You know, when someone told me just 2 months ago they needed to buy and sell at the same time, I said, good luck. No, not really. We always put a plan in place, but it was never the sexiest plan. We always had contingency plans. There was always a plan B and a plan C in case our plan A and B didn't work out. Now you can get contingent offers accepted on properties. You can be contingent on the sale of your home, write an offer that is contingent on the sale of your home, and we're getting those offers accepted, which will reduce your risk being a home seller at the same time. What I suggest if you are in this scenario is put a roadmap together. Get your buying plan in place, but make sure your home is listed on the market before you start writing offers, because you don't know. It might take 1 week, it might take 2 weeks, it might take a month to be able to sell your house. What we're trying to do here is just reduce the overall stress and put you in a great position as a buyer. And scenario number 3 is, let's say you don't really need to move, but you would like to at some point, or maybe you're looking to purchase an investment property. I would say this market is perfect for you for one key reason. You can be patient and find the right deal. There are still motivated sellers that are just overreacting to the market. They're not used to a neutral market. Their real estate agents aren't used to a neutral market, and they're motivated. They're willing to give you a good deal so that they can get an offer accepted on their home. And the truth is, this is going to become harder and harder. You know, right now we have these motivated sellers that don't know what's going on in the market. In 1-2 months, when everything starts to normalize, you aren't going to have as many of those options. And you might have to write up 10 or so offers before you get one accepted. So now's the time that you start trying to do that instead of waiting for next year, instead of waiting for the next couple of months. And again, you're in no rush. You can be patient. You could take your time. You could write offers. Have fun with it. And I did want to give this bonus to you guys. Look, is this the best time ever to buy a house? No. Is it the best time ever to sell a house? No. It's somewhere in the middle. It's more of a neutral market. In fact, it's still a slight seller's market right now. But the opportunity is you have more options as a buyer. There's more inventory. There's more to choose from. You might be able to get creative with your offers, like I was saying before. And I think it's very realistic to think in the next 1 to 2 years, rates are going to come back down so that you can refinance. And if I was a buyer, I wouldn't put all my eggs in that basket in the sense that I couldn't afford my house if I couldn't refinance, but I would bet on it in the sense that it's very likely, and that is going to put you in a much better financial situation in just a short period of time. Now, if you do decide it is the right time for you to buy a house here in San Diego, the next thing is to figure out what neighborhood is perfect for you. I've had literally hundreds of people reach out wanting more information on what neighborhood is best for them here in San Diego, which is exactly why we put together our Best Life Discovery Session. This is a completely free 30-minute Zoom call where we can go over everything that you're looking for, and we can pick out the top 3 neighborhoods for you and for your family. We also help provide clarity on your timeline and whether or not your goals align with what's happening in the market. Now, because of time restraints, I'm limited to 5 of these a week, so make sure to reach out as soon as possible. You can go to bestlifesandiego.com or click one of the links below, reach out, and we'll schedule that for you. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next time.